today we are going to talk about how to adopt the beliefs and the lifestyle and the habits of future you so you can become her faster. This is something that I am continually working on, having built businesses and writing books and sharing this podcast. I'm always trying to bridge that gap to shorten the distance between who the dream version of me, the next level version of me is versus where I'm at today. And if this is a topic that resonates with you, this is from my brand new book, Shine Bright, which is all about discovering your message, building confidence, sharing, and making a difference. And chapter 8 is all about building this best-in-class mindset, the mindset of the greats or the top of the field for whatever you want to do and create in the world. You can get this on Amazon or on Audible where I narrate, but I thought it would be fun to dive into a little bit of chapter 8, just like a little piece that we can fit into a podcast episode. And if you're interested, of course, you can read the whole book for even more on this topic. So think about this. There is always another perspective available to you. And I've been thinking about how I have women and friendships in my life that I value so much because these women are not exactly like me. They think differently. They want different things. You know, if I'm a little bit more, let's say, type A, I definitely have the balance to me in a lot of my female relationships where they're maybe more type B. They're more relaxed. They're not going to overthink things. And so the other day I had this thought of how would this one friend I have think about this? And I realized that she would have a completely different perspective. She would not be stressing, she would not be over planning, she would not be thinking of future scenarios, and it's not good or bad to be either way, but it just reminded me that there's always another perspective available. That if I was a different person in a different body and different life, I could see the same exact situation a completely different way. And so can you. And so it's not like saying you have to become this other person or that their way is better or that it's easy to do that. But it's a reminder that there's always another perspective available. And you can try them on just like you could try on different outfits. So let's say that you are really wanting to put yourself out there on social media, but you're nervous to do so. Try and think about, is there another person in your life or another person in the world, and maybe you can see them in magazines or online or just imagine them, who thinks differently about this? Is there someone out there who's like, it's no big deal to post on Instagram? I do not care what people comment. I think it's funny when people comment mean things, right? I'm not saying any of these are true, but there are other perspectives out there that people have and they're available to you. So that would be one example. Another one is maybe it's not even related to social media, but you're planning a big trip and you're really nervous and like all the logistics are kind of scary and you're going to be far away from home. Is there another perspective available? And I'll give you mine. Like, I love going somewhere I've never been before. I think it's the most exciting, fulfilling, like joyful thing in the world. I have this mantra that I repeat and try to believe and adopt that I heard from another travel vlogger, that the world is a safe place. It's so much safer than all the headlines that we read about, that people are good people everywhere. And yes, there are heartbreaking conflicts, but like the vast majority of places you go and people you meet, they want to be welcoming to you. They want to look out for you. And so what I learned from this YouTube vlogger is the world is a safe place. And I try and repeat that to myself as well. So that is a perspective that someone else had that now I try and borrow when I travel. And if you are nervous about going somewhere new, I offer my perspective to you as well, that this could be the best thing that you've ever done. This could be the most fun you've ever had. And so that kind of thinking through that lens. Another example would be, let's say a health example. It's, the new year. I know a lot of us have health goals and things like that. And so if maybe you look at running like it's the worst thing in the world. I know I certainly used to. Is there a new perspective available to you? I've borrowed this one recently. I saw and started kind of following this fitness influencer and noticed she loved running. And I started to gradually over time notice myself thinking, kind of like her, like adopting her mindset of like, maybe it would be fun to be someone who feels good running, who likes the feeling, who loves the runner's high, who like loves to be able to have that kind of cardiovascular stamina and fitness and ability. And so I actually had ChatGPT make me a running plan. I was like, I haven't run in a decade, so start me from zero. And it made me kind of this plan where I'm going to work up and shoot for a half marathon in a few months here. But it started to make me like running because it was so doable and incremental that I started to actually notice I would feel those endorphins after the run. I would feel like I liked to see that my body could handle it better a little bit each time. And the most shocking thing of all happened is I actually started to look forward to my run days. It was so different from all the other times in my past when I'd only run purely for fitness, for losing weight, for whatever when I was younger. And I would start way too fast and I wouldn't give myself rest days because I wanted the calorie burn. I'm taking rest days this time. I'm going so painfully slowly in some ways because I'm working up and I'm not doing it for like weight loss per se as much as just I want the feeling and perspective of being someone that loves to be active and to feel my body be able to run and to handle this and to have fresh air when I work out and to just like be someone who likes to move and feels like my body and circulatory system feel good and vibrant and nourished from this experience. So that perspective is available, right? I'm not saying it's the right one. I'm not saying it's within reach necessarily, like depends on who you are and what your history is. But I am saying like it's out there. And if it's out there, it means you could just as much adopt it as anyone else. You know, think about in business, maybe you are nervous to start a business, but someone else, I think of my husband with this, loves the feeling of starting a business and figuring it out and having the problems come and busting through them anyway. And that is like where someone else thrives. And so maybe you could as well. Like maybe if you didn't have the belief of it's scary to have a challenge and you adopted the perspective of this is the most fun thing I can do is problem solve in an area where I have expertise and I can figure this out, that's available to you. So those are a lot of different examples, but I would wager that they apply to any scenario that you're facing. It's not saying, like I said, another perspective is better or is easier to believe in. Certainly not, especially if we're all used to believing certain ways. But just the thought that what else is available to me? What else is someone else thinking about this exact same situation, who maybe has a different personality or different circumstances or whatever it may be, but still, somewhere out there, there is this different perspective and awareness on this exact same situation. And do you want to try that one on instead? And there's nothing saying that you can't try it on and be like, that's not for me. Or you can't try it on and realize you want to pick out another one, just like you'd pick out another outfit. But I've really been playing with this a lot lately of like, how would so-and-so that I know think about this if they're different from you? And that's available to me as well. And it is for you too. So I would wager that this kind of plays into that chapter 8, Build Best-in-Class Mindset from my book, Shine Bright, because there's someone else who is doing what you dream of doing, who's at the top of their field, and chances are they're thinking about the exact same thing that you're thinking about, but a little bit differently. They have a different perspective. They have a different awareness of it. They have a different way that they look at it, that they approach it, that they want to do things. And so that's available to you as well. Try it on like an outfit. Try on a different one if it doesn't work. And I don't know, that's just been really encouraging to me this week to just kind of play with. There's something else available to all of us at any time, and which one serves you the most, and going forward with that.